Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay. It's nice to see you again, Annabelle, and um, glad that you're finally here to start talking about purchasing
Yes.
my company. And we've also heard a lot of good things about the firm that you work for, that it maintains really good ethics and strong values, and that's something that I'm also looking for the future of Lombardi Co.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. First of all, thank you for sharing the information, the financial data with us. That was really helpful.
Sure.
And I think that would be good if we could at least start by sharing our interests and then move on to
Yeah, sure.
the financial discussion.
All right.
Okay. Um, so I guess my first question would be, why are you selling? Do you intend to leave the company? Do you want to work at the company for the future? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so for me, my immediate priority is actually just to start spending less time at work and slowly transition into spending more time with my family and my children who are about to go off to college.
Okay.
So I find that in the last couple of years, because our business has been growing quite rapidly, I've been spending more and more of my time traveling and dedicated to these business meetings, especially now that we are expanded to a large number of countries these days. So I thought that it's time to almost
Focus on your family.
focus on my family. I'm not so focused on the business anymore. That's why I want to just look for a good owner to take on the business, continue its growth. I'm happy to take a step back or just to wind down my time,
Okay.
reduce interest, or just completely being out of the company. Either way would be okay with me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess it would be good if you could stay for a little bit just to ensure a smooth transition for if you were to buy your company. I think
Yeah, and that's
that could
completely fine
be
with me. Yeah.
okay. That could be good. Well, a bit more about us. So, um, we have um, we are based in Asia, right? And we have a long-term, value-oriented philosophy.
Okay.
And yeah, so the reason why we are very interested in your company is because, well, it's well established in North Africa, and we have some business there that we think we could that your company would be a good match that would help our operations as well
Okay.
regarding those.
Just to confirm, are there any existing businesses in the region already? Because I'm not aware, whether there's such a thing.
Yes, so I'm not sure. Like, I don't have the data here with the number of companies or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yes, we have
Okay, there isn't at present.
some presence. Not sure. I can tell you that later, maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
But yes. Um,
Okay. Okay.
mm,
Understand. So, just wondering because you already have some businesses and you mentioned a bit about then, if you're to purchase somebody, of course it expands your operations in the region. What were your goals within the region, or are you looking to change the product range? Are you looking to
no, we're really happy with your products, and I think
okay,
they're really good. So that would be great. Regarding the brand, that is something that actually we have considered whether we really wanted to keep that or not. The reason is I know you really value your brand, and that you specifically asked for a separate valuation of your brand.
that's right.
Um, so I'll address that in a second.
Okay, sure.
But the reason is that we believe that a more like uh, recent brand, a new design, something like that could actually um, better suit um, our combined operations. So that's why
Right. So just to confirm, that's renaming the
would
company, is
be
it?
yes,
Okay.
exactly. I
Okay.
mean, not the company, but
Oh, the brand of the product
yeah,
maybe.
exactly.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Um, but given that you value your brand so much, that was actually one of my questions. Why, like, because you asked for a separate valuation, and
Mm.
so I was thinking, why is that? Does it? Because for
Yeah.
me, from a financial point of view, um, the 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 impact of the value of the brand is already included in the financial statements, let's say, because it is assumed that the reason why you're selling what you're selling is in
Mm-hmm.
part because of the brand that you carry. So excluding that from the
Yep.
financial statement, from the rest of the valuation is a really difficult exercise at the same time. If that makes sense to you.
Right. Okay. So I guess the reason why I was valuing the brand because yeah, we've done this valuation of the brand with an external consultant a number of years ago, and we saw that it actually came up to a substantial figure.
Mhm.
And at the same time, we also recognize that the brand has been starting to win a number of awards in the area. I think just 2 days ago, we just won 3 awards in the new market.
Okay.
And because of that, we have also had some of the other bids. Obviously, a number of bidders I've been speaking to, and some of them have offered quite an amount of money because they want to come in and use that brand and start establishing a presence in the region. So I thought that the brand might bring good value, especially for companies trying to enter the market here.
Okay, that's your point. Uh, that could be
So
something that we could
yeah, we could
work
definitely
out,
discuss about
but
that.
yeah, exactly.
I think another thing that my company brings was the strong distribution network, and that we have built across a number of years. We have experts in each market that we have trained. So, uh, and testament to this would be we have a number of companies that have come to us actually trying to get us to outsource our services to them. So there's also an option to create a subsidiary offering this distribution services to other companies. It's an
Okay.
opportunity for that as well.
Oh wow, I didn't know about that. Let me just write that down.
Yeah, sure.
So you mentioned the brand and opportunity to. You said like outsource the no. What? How did you describe it?
Yeah, because some of the other companies in similar businesses have come to us and they have actually invited us to create a subsidiary business that would allow these other companies to purchase our distribution services as a sort of an outsourced distribution.
Mhm.
I think beyond that there were two other things I wanted to also discuss. Is it
Mhm.
okay if I continue?
Sure.
So the second point was about some of the reorganization that we have done. So I understand that with some businesses, people tend to window dress a little bit before going for the sale. What I've actually done 2 years ago is that I have gone on this reorganization of a company where we focused on cutting our costs firstly, and that included layoffs of our staff. So we have trimmed down our staff to 500 people now,
Okay.
and
And
uh,
that happened 2 years ago.
it happened 2 years ago, and we have just about completed the reorganization now. So you will see that financial impact in our latest statement. So that's the first thing, and the second, I mean I guess the third point I wanted to add was that of our staff. So I mentioned we have laid off some of the team, and we have this pretty lean team now of 500 staff. Of these people, 460 of them have been around between 5 to 20 years, and the remaining 40 staff have been with the firm pretty much since the beginning of the firm. So they are, they're like family to me,
Okay.
and I really like them to continue having their job as well. If
What
that's
are the positions that of those people that you're talking about? Is how many?
mhm.
Like who are they exactly and how many?
Right. Okay. So of the 460 people, this would be a range from relatively junior to sort of managerial level staff. But these have all undergone training to ensure that their skills are matching to the market.
Okay.
But the 40 staff I mentioned, they have been around since the start. They might not be their skills might not be most relevant to the market now, but I feel that their contributions have been immense since the start of the company. They've been there right from the beginning, and they are quite near retirement age. So I actually see them to be just on average 2 years to retirement, and they're not getting paid that much money. It's around 25,000 per person per year, and they're just an average of 2 years to retirement. So it would also mean quite a lot to me if they could continue with the firm and not be made redundant.
Okay. So, okay. Can I just ask something that I think might not be understanding. So you said that 2 years ago you started this program to optimize costs and you reduced staff. But actually, what I see here is that operating expenses have gone up in the past years. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I see that the operating expenses have gone up. So if you look at year -2, just to
Yes.
check the numbers that you have are the same. Revenues were 90.1 and
Yes, 84.9.
84.9.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would take away from this is that revenues have increased at a higher pace compared to the operating expenses. I think part of that is due to the reorganization, but part of that, I'm guessing, is due to overall increase in costs as well in the industry. So
Okay.
I think the increase in profitability, we could look at it in terms of revenues being increasing faster than the expenses in the last couple of years.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, just before we move on, let's just summarize what we have so far.
Sure.
So, you're selling the brand because you're selling the brand. You're selling the company because you want to spend more time with your family. That's the main reason.
Yeah.
But at the same time that you're selling this company, you would like some employees to stay because they've been with the company for a while and you care about them.
That's right.
Okay. Also, you ask for the brand to be valued separately, but that's just because you received a few evaluations from outsiders and you would like to analyze that separately. Is there any other reason, or it's just basically...
Yeah, I mean, we could look at it separately, but really I'm looking at the overall figure for the company. So if it's included in the free cash flow somehow, then that will be okay with me as well.
And you also mentioned that there is opportunity to create a subsidiary to sell Lombardo Distribution Services to other companies. Is this something that you have included in your valuation model? Because, I mean, this is news to me.
Right.
And I don't have any valuation, and I wasn't aware of this.
Right. So,
or is this something that you're not including in your current valuation?
So internally in my valuation, I saw it as that there was some value to both Hagilon and as well as if you were to expand this business. So I've attached sort of a cash flow for each year for the 10 years, and I've discounted it.
Okay.
So it really depends how much of a synergy it provides for your company, and there's an additional benefit if you could start a subsidiary.
So yes, that was my question. This is new business, or is this synergies that is it both?
I've included it as a broad bucket,
but it's actually two things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I was surprised about was your request of no terminal value. I mean, I obviously like it,
Yeah.
but is there a reason for it?
So I just wanted to have better comparability of the different bids I received from all the potential buyers. So I thought that by fixing the process of the bids, that'll make it easier. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that internally, that's sort of how I've done my valuation of the company as well.
So
So
I need you to talk.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Alright.
And obviously, I've also been trying to be as transparent as I could with all the financials and giving you access to it.
Yes. So did you use a 9.67% this walk, for example, in your valuation?
So okay, I mean, so for the WALT, I actually saw a huge range. 9.67 uh, is roughly what I have internally in my company currently.
Mm-hmm.
But I also recognize that on average for companies with an amount of debt as well, it could be lower down, it could be closer to 9.2. That's sort of the average that I've seen. But just for my base calculations, I'm okay with using a 9.67.
Okay. Um, we follow a different process for the walk, just to
Right.
let you
Okay.
understand my numbers. And the way we look at it is we look at the company's cost of capital, and then we apply a risk premium per region, and that
Right.
and the risk premium is 5% for this area. So that's
Right.
so our walk was actually should be 13.5.
Yeah,
So
sorry,
it's
that's
a
the
very
5% on top of the 9 point.
so that would be
Oh, but you have used a lower
a low,
original work and
yeah,
added 5% on that.
exactly. But I decided to use a walk of 11%. I reduced the risk premium to half. That's basically what I did. Just because you were so transparent.
To change, sorry, to 11%, is that right?
Yes, so that's the work I used, but I guess we will have
Oh,
to
okay.
work on it. Um,
I see. Okay, so you mentioned that there was a risk premium,
mhm.
but looking at the financials that we've had in the last number of years as well as the market projections, would that already be because the way I see risk would be two ways. The first would be if the company doesn't do as well, or if the market starts tanking or something like that. So one way to look at it would be in the forecast 10 years, what the growth rate would be. That's one way. Or the other way would be, uh, just having a higher WACC. So,
Yeah. So this is pretty much the standard in the market.
okay,
You just use your company's cost of capital, and then you apply a country risk premium whenever you're going into a new region, and
okay,
that's supposed to capture the macro risks, regulatory risks, any other like out. So it's not really related to your company. It's
okay,
more related to the macro environment, let's say. So it would have nothing to do with the company in particular.
okay,
It's just so if your company was operating in Europe, it would have a 5% less risk just because
right, okay,
it's Europe is seen as safer.
yeah,
That's the only thing. But yeah, this is just to explain to you why where do our numbers come from, and
okay, yeah, I could definitely see, okay, I mean, we could work with, 11 at this point, but of course this depends on also how the remaining 10 years are actually forecasted out, because that also makes an impact onto the free cash flows.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of things to talk about. For example, and where I'm expecting to that we have some divergent views, because I think you mentioned something about the growth rate.
Yeah, that's
Like
right.
that I'm not really finding my notes right now, but and the last year growth rate in revenues, for example, was 2.6%.
That's right.
But actually, we never look at just one data point. We look at the overall growth rate,
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
and that's a much lower number. So that goes down to 0.36%.
Okay. So to which year are you stretching that to? Is that year -5 or?
So yes, um, the reason being we feel that 5 years of data captures
Mm,
more information than just 1 year.
Okay. So
I don't know if you have. Why would you suggest? I mean, obviously you would
mm,
suggest just one data point, which is the best data point that you have. I understand why,
oh,
but
not,
at the same point, I would like to know how. Why are you so confident about this growth? Is there something?
right. Okay. So I'm looking at it as future growth, as forecast growth. So one thing is the industry itself is growing at 2 to 3% per year. So I'm assuming that we'll be able to maintain sort of a similar market share throughout, which means a 2 to 3% growth in the future. But on top of that, we saw that with our increased our reorganization of the company, I believe that we could in the future obtain a 4 to 5% growth on top of that, which gives us a total of 6 to 8%, 6 to 8% growth. But for my calculations, I've used a much more conservative figure.
Okay.
No, it's a conservative figure. So I've actually just assumed that I would grow similar to
To the industry,
the
so
industry.
between 2 and 3%.
So yeah, and I actually used 2.4% as my growth. So I thought that was reasonable because if you saw from year -1 to 0, it was actually 2.6%. If you went back a few years, so year -2 to currently, we see a similar growth trend as well. Slightly lower, I think closer to 2%.
Okay. Mm. And so what exactly has happened in year 4 and year 2? Because those were the years where the revenues went down. Is there something?
Sorry,
I'm just asking this because
yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah, absolutely. Sorry,
to
which
just
years were you
the
looking at?
one. So I think -4 dropped from 92.5 to 88.6, and then on year -2 it also it's almost flat.
Right, right. So
Mm.
So from what I recall, it's not here, but from what I recall, year -2 was when I started the whole reorganization.
Okay. Yes.
So that's where we we saw that revenues were not really increasing. We wanted to make it a more profitable business. So that's year -2 is actually where we started the reorganization efforts. I do understand that for some years it might be increasing or decreasing due to some fluctuations. Uh, but my belief for the company is that looking at maybe year -2 to current or year -3 to current, that will be more similar to the future trajectory as well.
Okay. Mm.
I'm just wondering, is it very um, how does it look compared to your valuations of the firm? What figures did you use actually?
Sorry?
How does that the growth rate? How does that actually compare to the figures that you have used?
So basically, the growth rate I applied was the average of the past 5 years.
Okay, so that was something like 0.3%.
Yeah, 36%, and the same for expenses. That's actually
Right.
they have gone up by more than the revenues.
Let's see. So let me just do a quick calculation for expenses. Okay. I think that percentage might be okay. I've used a slightly lower percentage for my expenses, but okay, I see roughly where you're coming from for expenses. I think that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, okay. Let's go through the several elements,
Yeah,
and then maybe
sure.
try
So
to think
I
how
think
do we do this.
yeah, it looks like a slight
There's a
divergence
big,
in
yeah,
the
exactly. I think there's a big difference in all our assumptions, starting with walk.
yeah, the work and the growth rate.
The growth
So
rate, yeah,
that
it's also,
makes quite a big impact
and
overall.
operating expenses, I'm assuming the same thing. So actually here, I didn't really use the operating expenses average growth rate. I applied your operating expenses as a percentage of revenue.
Right, okay.
So which is 92%. So that's
Okay, but we're assuming a constant percentage throughout, so right?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I was looking at a slightly um a slower growth rate for expenses compared to revenue, I guess based on the most recent years. Okay, I could see.
I'm actually here being a bit conservative because the only year where it was 92% was the last year. So previously it was 94.
Right. Okay.
So I think um, I could have used a higher ratio here,
Right.
but we didn't.
Okay.
What? How did you? What have you assumed?
I've looked at the growth rate for the previous year for expenses. I saw that it was around a 0.2% growth. So I sort of forecasted that. And by the way, my forecast only go up to year +1 and +2. Then I've assumed constant figures after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've not actually grown it by 2.4% for 10 years. It's just for the first 2 years and then constant after 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's also me trying to be conservative with the overall revenue figures. Okay.
So that's interesting, because then in that case,
But you've done the growth throughout, is that right?
of 0.36. Just wondering how would that um, how would that compare to you said 2.4?
Yeah, I've used 2.4. I mean, I'm happy to share the number I got with you. It's I got a valuation of about 45 million for my free cash flow based on my WACC and my growth rate.
Okay, so basically, I see here is that if I use your assumptions, that would give me an extra 3.3 million in value.
Hmm.
Mm.
Is that
Instead of a
close
0.
to the figure that I shared? Is that close to the 45 million I mentioned, or is that far away?
35 million of what, sorry?
So 45 million for the sum of the discounted cash flow?
No, it's a lot less.
Oh, okay.
So I can show
Right.
you. This is what I have just for this.
Oh, okay, because this is a lot lower. Okay. The EBITDA is a lot lower for some
Probably the
reason.
operating expenses, right?
Right, okay.
So just write down here.
No, okay, that's true because then the expenses are growing faster than revenue, so it becomes smaller and smaller while mine sort of is diverging and you get a figure. Okay, got it. Um,
3. Let me just write it out. What would be the impact here? So operating expenses. What have you assumed?
it's a 0.2% growth for year 1, year 2, so then it remains constant at about 86.8 from year 2 all the way to year 10.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's really the EBITDA that it's a bit different. Okay. Okay, I mean, I understand how you are calculating that. I think that's fair, but should we move on to maybe the other two components that we mentioned? So I'm looking at the possible synergies from distribution channels and the part about the brand as well.
I was just wanted to check how much
Oh yeah, sure.
would that bring. So that would mean 0.2% for E1 and E2, and then would be 0. Actually, it doesn't make that much of a difference. So I guess it's probably not here as well. What about your assumptions for free cash flow? Because I still think I'm still not understanding where our differences is coming from.
For
Obviously,
free
the
cash
WACC has
flow.
an impact, but it's still very far away from the 44 figure that you have.
I think it comes from the EBITDA because my EBITDA from year 3 onwards is 12 million per year. So it's because my revenues are significantly higher. My revenues are much higher, while my operating expenses have remained almost stagnant, which is why EBITDA is much higher, and my free cash flow, my EBIT, is around 61% of my EBITDA.
Even if I use your assumptions, I only get to 8.1 in EBIT, which doesn't make sense. So I must be doing something wrong. So you said, let me just double check this.
Yeah.
2.4% growth
Yep.
in year 1 and year 2,
Yep.
and then 0.
Yes.
So that would give you 98.9.
Yes.
And then for year 1 and year 2 and expenses, you assume 0.2% growth,
Yep.
and then 0.
Yep.
And that gives you 90?
0.2% growth. No, that gives me
Oh, right.
86.7.
Because I'm
86.8.
assuming the percentage fixed, the 92%.
Oh, okay, yeah, because
Right.
it's 92% fixed. Yeah, okay,
That's the reason why.
okay.
Mm,
Yeah, because I guess for me the assumption came from the year -1 and current year where I saw operating expenses were pretty much the same while revenues went up. That's where my assumption came from.
okay, 12.1, that's what it gives me. 12.02 is kind of fair. And then I have 6.8 in free cash flow, and you have 7.4.
Yeah, the ratio I used there was 61.7% of EBIT to EBITDA. So that's probably different. I acknowledge here that in the past it was a slightly lower percentage.
Mm-hmm. So why is such a big difference? It has never been even close to that number.
Yeah, I mean, this is my prepared by my team, our internal relations officer.
Okay.
But okay, I do see, I start to understand now where the differences are coming from. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think I'm okay with that. Let's look at some of the other components as well.
Okay.
Maybe then we could see the total figure. So we have then two other things. There was the distribution channels and the potential brand value we talked about. Is there one you wanted to look at first?
Yes, I don't have good news for you.
Right.
Because we have also, as I said, I feel that it has already been included in the revenues,
Right.
but we have consulted an external brand equity expert,
Okay.
and he gave us an estimate between 1 and 1.7 million, which is really low and below what you could expect, I would say.
Okay. How recent was that
It
valuation?
was just now,
Right. Okay.
and it was much lower than I expected, to be honest.
Okay.
So I've challenged her, and she said that in an extreme scenario, she could see a valuation of 3 million.
I see. Because I've also engaged a consultant myself. This was done 7 years ago before we won the number of awards, and we saw that figure to be it's 3 million in the past. That was 7 years ago, and we saw that our brand has grown over the last 7 years. So we expected that figure to increase as well, but of course we don't know how much it's increased by. And at the same time, because like I mentioned, I had other companies bidding, and 8 million was the bid of one of the companies, which is why I use 8 million as the
Okay.
benchmark.
Okay. Alright. And then we would have distribution channels, right? The synergies.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so I mean for the synergies, I saw it as a fixed benefit that you could gain throughout every single year, and I just used that figure and discounted that by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I saw synergies, and I believe that this comes from two components. One, it helps you set up your business in the region, and two, it's potentially getting that subsidiary set up and getting profits also from serving the other companies.
Okay. So I don't think we have included that second part.
But do you have at least a way or methodology to to include this?
So what I see, well, we don't have a fixed number per year.
Yeah.
Because we think it takes time to take advantage of that. So it's not like that we can sell products
Okay.
through your distribution network.
Okay.
So
Sure.
it's actually like a number that goes up. But the sum of the discounted cash flows is just 19 million. Less than that, I'm just rounding it up.
Okay.
Why are you laughing?
Okay, now that's a bit lower than I was expecting. Because I saw that I thought that you'll be able to bring in all your products immediately and start
Yes.
selling, start ramping up sales. And also knowing that you have a whole other range of product lines. So I thought that
I
one
actually
way. Sorry.
think that I might have here some flexibility to increase this number maybe. I mean,
Yeah, because I saw one way of calculating that was to look at how much increased profit that you might get, and that goes into one bucket, as well as how much profits you might get from
exactly.
other
I
companies.
don't have that.
Right. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's new news to me,
Right.
and to consider the value of those opportunities.
Yeah.
But you don't have a split between what you included as mine and what you value as that can be.
No, I didn't have a split because I guess I didn't understand your company's sales actually, so I don't know how much that your company could benefit from it. So for me, yeah, it was just a flat rate I applied.
Of how much then? The total is.
The sum of the discounted cash flows is approximately. It sounds like it's approximately 2 times of what you just mentioned. I was looking at a sum of around 37 million.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. No, but sorry, but for 37. No, sorry, but if you're looking at for synergies, right? Because that might be a total synergies for the company. And I'm also considering that because I wouldn't expect to be getting all those synergies. I'm only expecting to get a percentage of it. So I saw my share of the synergies to be, yes, it's quite close to the figure that you had of 19.
Yeah, but that would be the total. My total.
Okay, so you're saying that then that's your total and then you apply a share of that to the price of that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just out of curiosity, what sort of share were you looking at? Because I've also tried doing some research about how the synergies are split out, and the research really tells me that it could be anything from close to from 0 to up to 80%, depending on how the sales.
Yes. So my boss doesn't really like to pay other people for the synergies. So that's why I haven't included like anything here. I understand that might not be fair. But what I saw is that the median is around 31%.
Okay. I have used a figure slightly higher than 31%. So. And why I did that was really because I thought that it would be harder for businesses to set up in this particular region, and because of that, there is extra value that the distribution channel could bring. So I've used a figure of higher than 31%, slightly on the higher range of the 0 to 80%, and that's in hopes of capturing some of the value that I've built in the firm.
You assume 80?
No, it's less than 80, but it's closer to 80%.
I find it hard to justify that number. I mean, if there's anything that to me that would sound fair would be the 50-50 split. And I would have a hard time justifying that to my boss, who doesn't want to pay for any synergies, but
Okay. I mean, a 50-50 split would be okay with me if the overall synergy includes
yeah.
the other things as well. But 50-50 of
Obviously,
that
everything
figure is-
depends on the total value, right? It's
Yeah,
just a
that's right.
matter of how we get there and.
Okay.
So,
And okay, so sounds like firstly for the overall valuation of the company for in the discounted cash flows, it sounds like quite a bit of a shortfall. I think your
Yeah.
figure that you had was something like 25 or so. That is, there's about close to $20 million difference there. In synergies, I know you mentioned a figure of around 19, and if it was a 50-50 split, that would be 10.5, which is also about close to half of what I was initially expecting. For brand value, this is something that I felt quite strongly about in valuing my company, especially because I actually had an offer for 8 million already. I understand.
was that offer like combined with buying your company?
It was for buying the company. It was actually from one of our. It's a competitor that produces lower quality products.
I was just trying to understand, like,
Yeah.
like how did they come up with that number? Because as I was telling you, like if you take out the impact of the brand from your revenues, and then you
Right.
can. That's why I was curious about that number.
No, looking at the offer that I received, it was separate. So they offered one figure for the company itself, and this 8 million was for the brand alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking something here.
Okay, so I'm just adding up a few of the figures that you mentioned, just to confirm sort of the ballpark figure that you sort of had in mind. Was it around the range of sort of, I mean, just from the assumption that you mentioned, was it around like sort of 35 to 40 million?
There's another thing. I was trying to see if there was a way that I could increase my valuation for the synergies. So, because I feel that just checking my model with some of your assumptions, the value that I get is more than I pay for. So I guess it's really difficult. So even if so for me it doesn't make sense to pay more for something that I value.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and to give you a feeling of what I have. If I value the company according to everything I just said, using a walk of 8.5.
Okay.
So this is the best walk. I'm even giving you a better, just to give you a feeling of what I'm getting here.
Okay.
And then all the synergies, and if I paid you 100% of those synergies,
Yeah.
it would give 51 million. So I use your assumptions here, and it gives me a number that is over 65.
Right.
So I'm not sure if my numbers are correct, but I would like to get a feeling of how much are you expecting here.
Yeah, because that 65 that you mentioned, that includes a brand value of around 8 million, is that right?
Yeah, guess. I'm not sure. Probably something is wrong. I don't know what your
So,
numbers are. Like, what what were you expecting?
I mean, that's actually coming quite close to my number.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just a touch below what I originally had in mind, but um, it's getting towards the figure that I would consider.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a problem.
Okay, but using your assumptions, then it sounds like you have a figure closer to half of that, or slightly more than half of that number. Is that right?
Sorry.
If you were to use your original figures of the 11% WACC as well as the
Yeah,
synergies
it's
and all
lower
that.
exactly. So in a worst case scenario, I would assume the 11%. Some assumptions that I mentioned to you about, and I would not pay any synergies to you. That would be 0%. That would be our best case scenario, and that
Right,
would be 30 million.
right, right.
So for me, I was trying to get a deal between, well, 30 and 51, and it seems to me that you're looking for a number that is more than 65.
Yeah. So,
So that's why I think right now,
okay, but is there
so let me just explain some of the things that I've done. One of them is the synergies from the distribution channels. As I told you, that's part of that's the only synergies we've considered.
okay,
The thing is, we've only considered that for 4 years. Reason being that we feel that if we don't buy your company, we can achieve these distribution networks. We can establish them in 4 years' time.
right,
So
okay,
for us, the impact of having access to your distribution channels is just for 4 years,
right,
not a lot. Obviously, I didn't consider the possibility of selling this distribution network other.
yeah,
Then my question would be, who are these customers that you are mentioning? Are they in the same industry that we are playing? Because obviously I'm not interested in giving competitive advantage to my competitors.
hmm.
So I'm not sure if there's something that we can.
So these are companies from other industries, not direct competitors.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I don't actually have a value of how much they're willing to pay, but what I could do is that I I have the contacts of these companies, so maybe that's something we could do. But you probably need to still speak to them about how
Yeah.
to get that subsidiary set up. But is there anything you could do regarding the? Because I think the biggest shortfall here is the valuation of the company's cash flow. Is there anything you could do with maybe an alternate way of forecasting revenues or an alternate uh,
So
WACC that you could use? Because
there's a few things here. One of them
yeah,
would be that any deal that we reach here, I won't over 51 million. I don't have authority to commit, right?
right, right,
So everything will have to be contingent on approval from my boss. Like,
okay,
but we can discuss, and then how could we make it work? If there's a way to make it work, um, like what other things could be here? And obviously, uh, I need to get a better. My figure needs to be higher than whatever I pay you. Otherwise, there's no point in making the deal, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely. Okay, so so how about this? Because it appears that uh, we probably need a little bit more information about what the distribution channels could be,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe it's also speaking to your boss about the potential ways of valuing the business, and perhaps you could get a figure closer to our expectations.
And something else.
Yeah.
My value includes headcount reduction, which is something that
Right.
you
Right.
don't want me to do. Well, it's
Um.
not that much, to be honest. It's just like
Hmm.
around 3 million. but
But how much headcount reductions were you planning to do? Because I'm looking at, I sort of have 40 people who are 2 years away from retirement. They're paid 25,000 each, which means that's actually just 2 million in salaries over the next 2 years before they all retire. So that's actually not a huge amount of money, and they're still good for something. They could still do the work.
So in that case, I would have to exclude that from my. So. So this 40 other admin stuff, I think that's what you're talking about, right? Is it 40?
They are 40, but they're not admin staff though.
So were they?
They're employees that I have that have been here from the start. So I assume it's a mix. I don't think they're all admin staff.
Okay. So yeah. So that's another thing. I've included in my valuation the so laying off 30 managers, but hiring 10 managers. And you are telling me that would bring 2 million?
No, I'm saying that the 40 staff I mentioned.
I know. I
Yeah.
was trying to replace the numbers that I have here and see
Right,
if I can come up with a better. So I would have to keep them for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So it would be
for 2
zero
years.
for the next 2 years. I would have.
Yes. Then the 40 people will retire, so you don't need to fire anyone.
Yes. So that would mean. Can you give me how much of the savings and salaries that I would get from those?
It's 25,000 each for 40 people, so it's 1 million per year.
So if this is in millions, so it's just one. I don't think that makes such a big difference because I thought I would save more. I had a bigger number in savings.
Right.
And then I have to include the people that I will hire to replace them. So yeah, I don't think it makes that such a big difference. So let me check. Yeah, it's already 10 past 3.
Yeah.
Do you have anything planned?
No, I don't.
Okay, I only have a meeting at 4. And yeah, it doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
So I could easily keep your managers for 2 years, but I have 2.1. Using your numbers gives me 2.2.
Okay.
So it's not here.
Well,
so what options do I have here? I have the
I saw the biggest difference would be really where the growth rates are coming from at the WACC, but at this point with the numbers I have, it looks like it's too far apart. maybe what maybe what we could do, and I really appreciate your effort. Maybe what we could do is that I try to rework my numbers a little bit, and come back to a separate negotiation at another time.
Yeah, maybe.
Because and I do appreciate I also understand sort of the rationale behind the numbers. Um, for me, also looking at my numbers, I mean, I guess I had a bit more of an optimistic view, um, but being quite transparent and also sort of limiting the growth after 2 years. That's one of
Is
the things I
already,
tried to
yeah.
do to make it a little bit more conservative.
Yes, I'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
Uh, I have no way how to value those extra distribution channel opportunities that could increase the value of our company. So that's one. And the other one that I'm thinking about would be the terminal value.
Okay. And meanwhile, for me, what I would do is that I'll look at the revenue figures again and do a better assessment of where that revenue growth came from in the last year. So adjusting for possibly cyclical effects of revenue and things like that, and potentially modifying to use a longer time frame to get a better view of the growth. That's one thing I'll do. And also the same thing you mentioned for the growth of the cost. Um, I'll also check the percentage, right? It was 92% or 92 to 94% you mentioned of the revenue.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe with those four things, regarding the distribution channels, looking at the terminal value, I will reconsider both the growth and the cost. Um, then beyond that, then we probably leave it for the next discussion. Does that
Okay.
sound okay?
Deal.
Alright.